Welcome, welcome. You have now entered the cosmic radio receptors of KCIW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. Thank you for tuning into this week's fabulous program. Once again, I'm Dr. Gigi, and my co-host is, as always, and again, Jacques Kepner. How are you today, Jacques?
Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Doctor. Welcome to the Doc and Jacques Radio Variety Show. Special thanks to sound engineer Tom Bozak. And, hey, Ray Simon's out of the office. He's going to be gone for a couple of weeks. Michael Gorse, I just was speaking to. Ray Gary, Rick McNamer, all the people, the voices of KCIW are always gathered here on Wednesdays, where if you have a PSA or public service announcement, you can come down Wednesdays between, I think it's 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish until 2 to 3. Okay, from 2 to 3 it is. And you can record a PSA or public service announcement about your community event or group, etc. All right. I want to mention that you're hearing this live show on KCIW in Brookings, Oregon. That said, the same syndicated show will be rebroadcast in exactly 1 week from now, each and every Wednesday on KZZH 96.7 FM in Eureka, Humboldt at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then a few hours later at 1 p.m. on my old alma mater, KFUG 101.1 FM in Crescent City, California. So now you know, Dr. Gigi and I have your coasts covered.
Right on. So, Jackie Poo, we've missed you. You were gone the past 3 weeks, and you were traveling past somewhere in the east. Tell us about it.
Keisha, yeah, I had a great time, everyone. And Doc, I missed you tremendously. I got to see the incredible fall colors in Utah.
Wow, go Utah.
Homestead. It was so nice up near Park City and coming through the mountains into Salt Lake City. It was amazing how colorful it was. I hit it peak. Also Nebraska, Wyoming, southern Wyoming, although it's mainly desert, the bloom was out there. And it rained while I was there. So it was really cool to drive across the desert and find the desert soaked and take it on a green hue. Nebraska, Missouri, and Arkansas, I took all those little back roads the whole way, had a great time, 3 weeks. I just took my time. Took a long drive across America and accompanied only by my trio of traveling turtles. Yeah, I had brought Kush and Cosimo and Cleaver. All were with me. They had a great time hanging out too. A big shout out to all those that filled my shoes while I was gone, like your son, Lucas. Lucas, you did a good job. Excellent job last week. And who, I want to say, just 2 days ago drove from Crescent City to Salt Lake City in 1 day, folks. That's nearly 900 miles, okay? And he did it. He pulled it off.
And he got my car, which is 24 years old.
Yeah, a 2002 RAV4. Of course, it's a Toyota. What do you expect? Come on, I love it. A big shout out also to your sister, your twin sister, Rika.
Right.
Hey, Rika, what's going on? Who you interviewed and who she co-hosted the show with, right? 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And it was always so fun to hear you and your sister and your son having such a good time on this radio with our guests and in our area. Love it. It just feels really, really good to be back home, back on the show, on this lovely West Coast seaside slice of heaven, and sitting here beside you, my most precious, smart, and lovely treasure. You, Gigi, I really, truly love you. So good to be back.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Okay, what medical marvels does my German multilingual medical doctor, hospice director, 3-time patent-holding scientist, and university professor have for us today on this week's segment of MDGG?
Well, you suggested the tongue. So let's have a little tongue tongue-tying conversation. So listen to this. The tongue consists of 8 interwoven muscles, making it extremely flexible and strong, whereby 4 of the 8 muscles are attached only to each other, which is very much unheard of, that muscles are connected to muscles. And the hyoid bone, which is the little U-shaped bone in your, where the thyroid usually sits, right there. That's where some other muscles attach, and that's the only bone, we're talking the tongue, but that's the only bone where some tongue muscles attach that is not attached to another bone.
Interesting that you would be talking tongue, because last week while I was in Arkansas, northern Arkansas, I went to a cafe
Yeah.
And I asked the waitress what was good, and she recommended the beef tongue sandwich.
Oh.
I replied, yuck, how filthy. I'm never going to eat anything that comes from an animal's mouth. So she just shrugged and said, well, then how about some eggs?
Back to the tongue, the human tongue. The average human tongue is about 10 centimeter, which is about 4 inches long from base to tip.
I'm 6 inches at least. I do have a long tongue. I'm born with a long tongue.
Okay, everybody wanted to hear that.
Tongue tying contest. I got busted for tying people's tongues up, and that judge, he gave me a tough sentence. You get it? Sentence?
No.
You can't talk. You can't talk with long. Okay.
Humans have 8,000 to 10,000 taste buds,
Wow.
mainly in the tongue. But guess what? They're also in your cheeks and inner lips and roof of the mouth.
Wow.
And these taste buds detect 5 flavors, 5 main flavors. Do you remember them?
I do.
Well, tell them to me.
Sour. Sweet.
Right?
Salty.
Yes.
Mommy.
Your mummy.
Your mommy, which is what? Kind of like the taste of meat or
Savory.
savory.
One on
Interesting.
MSG, right?
And like a lemon bitter. That's not. Well, wait a
Lemon
minute.
is sour. Yeah, but bitter.
Yeah, bitter is like.
Like medicine.
Oh yeah, that's not.
So we don't like bitter because usually the bitter stuff is not good for us, actually.
A COVID testing nurse.
Yeah.
Recently asked me if I had if I'd had a sudden loss of my taste.
Yeah.
And I told her, no, I've always dressed like this for quite a while. I have good taste in my dressing, don't you? I'm wearing a vest and tie right now. All right.
Taste buds regularly die off and are replaced every few weeks.
Wow.
So that's why when we burn our tongue, we kill some taste buds and then they're coming back. And this is also interesting. Every person's tongue is unique in shape and pattern, similar to a fingerprint. Did you know that identical twins have different fingerprints?
I do that, but you both have different tongues, but it does leave a different pattern. Everybody's tongue is different. Speaking about mouth and the tongue and stuff, my dentist recently won an award. It was just a little plaque. Okay.
The tongue is one of the fastest healing tissues in the body.
Got it.
It harbors about 300 types of bacteria
The tongue,
in
yes.
1 milliliter of saliva. It can contain about 1 million bacteria.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is not necessarily bad, but yeah.
My dentist asked me if I floss, and I told him, yes, I floss religiously. And he said, really? Come on. And I said, yep, I do, every Christmas and Easter. Religiously.
Okay. The tongue can gain weight as we gain body weight. And then it's called obese tongue.
You're kidding me. Seriously?
Yeah. And it's associated with sleep problems. So when you're laying down, the tongue kind of rolls in back.
Oh.
And then you can't breathe.
The tongue gets fat on you.
Yeah.
Huh?
And some people can roll or curl their tongue, which is the genetic. Yes, you can do it.
I could do it.
Can you? Oh, yeah. Our guests can do it too.
All showing our tongues. Yes, okay.
Yep. And I can.
Hey, if your coffee tastes like mud, guess what?
What?
It's probably fresh ground.
That's a good one. The blue whale's tongue is the largest in the animal kingdom. We know blue whales are really big, right? They're big mammals, actually. So the blue whale's tongue can weigh 5,400 pounds.
No way. 5,000?
This is the weight of an African forest elephant.
That's several tons. They're just their tongue.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm so fat that if I wear a yellow raincoat, people hail me down and thinking I'm a taxi.
Okay, let's speed this up. The color and appearance of the tongue can indicate overall health. As a matter of fact, I worked with my cute Wang Ying, and she was my, when I did research, and so whenever anybody, and she was a barefoot doctor in China, so, so anyway, so whenever somebody said, oh, I feel bad or whatever, first thing, show me your tongue. Stick out your tongue. And
yeah, they do. They do look at your tongue, right?
So pink indicates normal, healthy tongue.
Okay.
Red, dark, beefy red, may signal vitamin B deficiency, fever, or certain infections such as scarlet fever or hormone imbalances.
Scarlet
or
red tongue, is that one?
Yeah, yes, that's what the scarlet comes from, and part of it, and Kawasaki disease. Yeah.
Okay.
White could be caused by a fungal infection, like oral thrush, I think we're all familiar with.
Weird white tongue.
Leukoplakia, which means you have little white plaques on there, which can be indicating certain things. Poor oral hygiene.
Yeah,
or
I would think
just,
that's more like, cheese and popcorn.
Or just dehydration or an immune deficiency.
Hey, did you know that the brain said to the liver, hey, you're a 6. And the spleen said to the colon, hey, you're a 7. And the urethra said to the bladder, you're an 8. I don't know how that goes with the tongue, but we're going to go with it.
Okay.
Where's my water?
It's under your...
Oh, it's under.
Yellow can result from bacterial buildup, smoking, that's kind of gross, chewing tobacco, jaundice.
They did a lot of that in Arkansas, Missouri. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They chaw. They had a lot of
had
chaw.
yellow tongue.
Yeah, and they carry around bottles. And they spit back into them.
Purple or blue, of course, is poor blood circulation or poor oxygen, which can be caused by heart or lung issues.
Very interesting. What part of your body never dies, doctor?
Which one?
The liver.
Oh, because it lives.
The liver.
Liver. Okay, one more. Brown or black tongue is usually actually harmless because
Black tongue is harmless.
Well, brown because you have been chewing tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
So, depending on the black tobacco or brown or yellow tobacco. But it can also be linked to the bacteria. That's when you start
oral hygiene.
Or oral hygiene. Or actually medication. Or diabetes.
Yeah. I don't ever hear anybody say, whoa, that caught me. The first thing I noticed was your black tongue. Whoa, it turned me on. But... All right. Well, that's very, very interesting. I wanted to let everybody know that I had to quit smoking marijuana recently because my cholesterol was just getting way too high. Right? Okay. I'm done. Fantastic. Thank you, doctor. It feels good to be back in the studio with you and our great guest today, a friend of ours, a guy that we've known, a gentleman we've known for a couple of years who's been on the old Jacques Talks down on KFUG and KZZH. And he was such an interesting guy. We know his mom, Jaden. Big shout out to Jaden and Grant
Jaden.
and Vera
The others.
his grandmother, Vera. I hope you're all listening and having a good time. And even Sam, who you'll find out a little bit about Sam a little bit. All right. But every now and then, someone does something that the rest of us just look at our passports. And we realize that those passports have been buried in a forgotten bedroom drawer under old tax papers and car titles. Some people dream about travel. And they scroll past pictures of sunsets in Bali or mountain peaks in Patagonia. But every so often, we all do it. We all daydream that maybe, just maybe, we should step out of our familiar sunrise and into the shadows of surprise. I mean, that's okay. We can't all be Jack Kerouac or Anthony Bourdain or Rick Steves, but sometimes someone actually gets up and goes. They jump over the edge and into the oftentimes unknown. And I'm not talking about a cruise ship or a tour bus through Italy and France. I'm talking travel, deep dive travel. Our guest today, Jared Wilson, once upon a time decided to do such, and not just to go anywhere. He started out tame and then he went wild. He disappeared deep into the jungles of Fiji and many other places. Places where Wi-Fi is just an imaginary thing. The air hums with mystery, and the locals have been telling stories older than most nations. Yeah. Jared is no stranger to us. He has been on my show personally, multiple ones, and we've become friends, and I've got to know this man very well. He is totally cool. It's my take that the stories you're going to be hearing were ones that he did not take as a tourist, but rather as a curious soul, searching for connection, for meaning, and maybe, just maybe, for a little trouble of the good kind. Today on the Doc and Jacques Show, we're going to break down some barriers with Jared Wilson let me ask you, what makes someone trade comfort for adventure, safety for discovery, and give up the creature comforts for a straw bed, if that, without a mosquito net? Today, we'll find out about this interesting man that lives within our midst, our keen, well-spoken, and philosophical friend, Jared. So lean back and get ready to take a journey because Jared's stories just might inspire you to dust off that passport, pack lightly, and say goodbye to the sanity of sameness and hello to new adventure. Without any further verbiage from me, Dr. Gigi and I wish to welcome Jared Wilson to the Doc and Jacques Radio Show.
Welcome, Jared.
Heyo, North Coast folks, and beyond.
And beyond.
Very cool to have you here.
Mom is listening, and Sam. And who's Sam?
Well, Sam is my sweetheart.
There you go. Cool. Great.
All right. Well, to introduce you even more, or from the beginning, we're going to start. From the beginning, where were you born and raised, Jared?
Well, I grew up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. In fact, I'm pleased to say I've lived in every range of the Santa Cruz Mountains all the way through the whole
cool.
county. Graduated from Santa Cruz High.
Wow.
And it was a really beautiful, special place to come up.
Do you know ice cream grade cone? Ice cream cone grade?
Indeed, it's actually just a stone's throw from Gam's house, my grandma.
Wow, how cool is that?
Exactly.
I have some friends that
So what
live
brought you here, Mr. Stone? What?
there. Oh, ice cream.
Ice cream stone.
Ice cream cone grade. It's a big road in Santa Cruz up on the top of the mountain, right?
Bonnie Doon.
Bonnie Doon. Yeah, there we go.
So what brought you here?
Well, I came to the North Coast essentially to reassemble my family. It's what you might consider a legacy project. It's a labor of love. And we were all living dispersed throughout the county as adults, and my grandma was in need of some assistance, and so we decided to join back together and create a family homestead and live the dream.
Up here in our coastal region of the Brookings, Crescent City realm, right?
Exactly.
Very cool. Now, what do you like best about this area?
Oh, I like the redwoods, and I love the sea.
Oh,
We're
I
asking
didn't know
him.
I was. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jacques.
Well, it's a coastal wonderland, I mean, it's very reminiscent of where I grew up, but, maybe a little more in a time capsule, so to speak. Really, the first thing that struck me was just the wild opulence everywhere. There's berries popping off the vine. There's the two major rivers up here. There's elk running all over the place. I mean,
It's true, yeah.
for someone who's living wild like I was, I'm thinking this is really special, even for a California native, And also, as I started to scratch the surface up here, I realized how genuine these people are. They're just such real ones. And I feel as though the majority of them have chosen to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we have.
Behind the redwood curtain.
Redwood
Red curtain, yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-of-a-kind spot. But don't tell anyone. Shh.
Yeah, it's growing. It's slowly growing. Give us an overview of your experiences that we'll be talking about. When you were, let's just go back. When you were younger, were you traveling off to some far-off exotic locations all the time? Or you were just pretty much just going to school, graduated from Santa Rosa? Pardon me?
Yeah,
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz.
Ice cream cone high.
Yeah, I mean, I was growing up in Santa Cruz County, and I don't know. I didn't really have any exotic plans in mind. I was mostly just kind of cruising along and enjoying myself. But a lot of things happened that led me to that decision. And I don't know. I think it's sort of a getting thrown in the deep end situation, especially when you're really young. You just feel like you have very minimal agency in your life. Like things just sort of happen to you and you got to deal with it, And it's very disempowering. And I had just graduated high school when I decided to go on this adventure. And I was 19, and it was just my way of claiming my own life, like radically, and developing my own autonomy for the first time. Self-empowerment, really.
Tell us a little bit about your father, if you don't mind. We want to talk about your dad. Tell us what
Of
happened.
course. Yeah, he's a big part of the story. My dad was a really special man. He it basically was like the James Harriet of the West. And he had a mobile veterinary clinic that was in kind of like an RV type of a vehicle. We called it the van,
cool,
right?
Well, yeah.
Traveling vet.
Mm-hmm.
How cool
And
is
so, of course, I grew up going on house calls with him, starting as a little boy. And actually, even the practice was in our own home for a while. So there's a lot of turnover with kind of both domestic and wild animals just in and around me all the time. And then later he got an actual residence to do this that he called the building. And it's funny because like I didn't realize it until recently. It's like, yeah, it was, the building where he was doing his practice, but he was the practice like embodied, and everywhere he went was the clinic. And even 20 years later, almost, I'm visiting, friends and neighbors. Oh yeah, your dad spayed my dog right here on this chainsaw bench kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's everywhere all the time,
Chainsaw bench.
So, yeah, it really created this super intimate community for myself, kind of an extended family that really reminds me of almost like Highlander clan mentality, where just
cool.
It goes without saying, because the mountain is such an intimate place.
So after high school, you decide to not go and throw it all away. You have. That was not your plan in the beginning, right? You had a different plan in the beginning, which then came to fruition some other way.
Well, yeah. So my dad actually passed away when I was 11, and it was really difficult to understand how to be a grown man coming up with sort of those limited resources that were left. And so I realized, okay, as soon as I get the opportunity to go do what I want to do, I'm going to claim myself and become the man that I want to be, that he's, sort of left me to be. And so I, at that time, was with a girl in high school, and she had dual citizenship to New Zealand. And that was her mission, to go out there and go to school.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, this is a really fantastic opportunity for us to go on this amazing adventure to the other side of the world. And we were super dynamic. We both saved up 10 grand and bought a one-way ticket. And as soon as we graduated, we jumped on the plane and flew over there.
What?
To
A
New
trip
Zealand.
literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about as far as you can get.
Yeah. And so you were going to stay there for a little bit and come back, or what was the plan?
I mean, it was really pretty much like an indefinite plan. It was the one-way, adventure.
Yeah.
She had planned to go to school, and I also had endeavors out there that were interesting to me. She had family kind of dispersed over both islands, so we thought, okay, well, we'll get a car, we'll see what feels right, and find out where we fit, and kind of start building a life here.
Full of enthusiasm, 19 years old, right? How cool was that?
New
right?
Zealand, OMG.
What's the drinking age in New Zealand? 18?
I think it was 19, so we were right in the pocket there, yeah.
Not that I'm promoting that.
Very nice. So then what happened?
Well, so we're out there for several months, traveling around. We got a little car, got to see all the sights and the special, Lord of the Rings qualities, because they really are hobbits out there. I mean, those people are super hospitable and sweet. Come on in, have a cup of tea, Wow. And so we were just having the time of our lives, adventuring. And then, suddenly she received some news that was truly life-changing, and was faced with a choice to stay and be kind of in a tricky situation, or to return to America and attend those things. So she decided to go back with that news, which left me 30 days to be in the country, because I was kind of part of her visa situation.
Entourage, yeah. Sure.
And so suddenly I was kind of faced with my own choice of, okay, do I want to come back to America? Which I had already made the choice in a way. I sold everything I owned and said goodbye to my people, and was committed to this. So I thought, well, it's almost already been made. I'm out here, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was just this open invitation for me to have a natural initiation into adulthood experience, kind of a walkabout, if you will.
Cool.
So I decided to take it, and
She had family there, so you were able to kind of you were aligned with some of her family members, right? So it wasn't like you were totally out there.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel right up front like it was sort of a no safety net, like open water situation. But, at the same time, it was friendly. I did have some connections. English speaking, just really
sure.
kind of like the kiddie pool for travelers, really.
Yeah.
So
the 30 days came to an end and you were still not back. What happened?
Well, I had 1 month, and I decided to go to Waiheke Island and build a mud house with a group of other travelers and woofers.
Waiheke Island?
Waiheke Island, yeah, it's off of Auckland, which is the main capital, or not the capital, but one of the main cities in New Zealand, in the North Island.
Oh, it was like a commune that was there, right? I think I recall you telling me. So you went to this commune.
Yeah, we were all living off grid in a big old teepee, and eating off the land and helping this woman build a 2-story roundhouse out of cob. And so I ended up making some friends and getting to really invest my big feelings into a project, which is really exciting. So in the process of doing that, I made plans with some of these friends to go to a festival called Confest in Australia, which is in the I think it's like the western corner of New South Wales, if I recall. And it was sort of a perfect progression to give me somewhere to go next, and sort of a jumping off point to my wild adventure ahead. So
okay, back to the commune. Do I recall you tell me it was like you were naked? Were you? Everybody's naked, right? Everybody was naked in this commune, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're out in the wild country and
building mud huts.
The way you build cob is stamping it with your feet. It's a mixture of clay, straw, and aggregate, and it's sloppy mud. So you're just gonna get it all over you anyways. And it's not like we wanted to really do laundry every day because we're just exhausted from building. So it's like first thing in the morning, have a cup of joe, strip down, and jump in that mud, get going. And
I do recall that. I'm glad I pulled that out of you.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, what a trip. So now you go to Australia.
Yeah, and that was a real dream come true. I had a couple of things that were really important to me growing up that I wanted to see. And so, I fly there to the festival, which is kind of like a Burning Man equivalent. People out in the wild, just being creative, and workshops and art projects and music and late night bonfires, the whole 9 yards. And so that was the perfect way to get indoctrinated into that culture and meet those people. And then it was kind of wide open. I was like, well, I've set a couple of main checkpoints. Like I knew I was going to be in Australia for 30 days because that was the visa.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to try to make the full circle as much as I can in that much time and hit as much as I can. So I ended up going to the Man from Snowy River Festival, which was really special to my heart. And seeing all of the authentic cowboys competing to be the best horsemen in the whole country. I hitchhiked through the middle of the country on the Stewart Highway, which is just full, deep outback, hundreds of miles of red dirt and road trains and skeletons. And saw Uluru, which is the native spiritual rock right in the middle of the country, up to the top, and then over west, down the Great Barrier Reef, and landing in Sydney finally, and seeing all of those things. The Steve Irwin Zoo. So many influences growing up.
And at this point, that's a huge trip for anybody, right? That's most of us going to say, okay, well, that's really good. We heard about a young man that traveled to New Zealand, Australia, but that's just the beginning of the story in a way. We got about a minute and a half to have to break. What was the next step you took from Australia? What did you do? Where'd you go?
Well, I had made a promise to my brother that I would be back for his high school graduation. Okay. And I thought, well, what's in between here and California? The Pacific Islands. So I decided to do a little layover in Fiji and check out what the jungle had to offer.
Fiji, which is pretty, it's pretty remote, many parts of it.
Rural, yeah.
Very, very rural, right? And some amazing things. You think you've heard anything yet? Wait till you hear what's coming up in Fiji when we return right after this 1 moment break to tell you that you're listening to 100 KCIW 100.7 FM studios in lovely Brookings, Oregon, and beyond. The list of major sponsors for this community radio are Advanced Airlines, flying in and out of nearby Crested City to Oakland and LA 7 days a week. Michelle Bupert. Hey, Michelle, our own vibrant local Curry County Chamber of Commerce. Nick and Lisa Rail and the PPA. He was on not too long ago. or the Partnership for Performing Arts. The medical team at Chetco Medical and Aesthetics at Harvard, where Dr. Gigi is a physician. And lastly, my dear co-host, Dr. Gigi Reed, MD, and yours truly, Jacques Kepner. On behalf of KCIW, thanks to all of you. We're speaking with Jared Wilson here about his incredible time that he had. And you think it's been good now? Wait until you hear what's coming up next. This is my... I've heard it before on the earlier show way back in the day, a couple of years ago, and you fly to Fiji because it's halfway between Australia and California. You got to be back for your brother's graduation. Mm-hmm. What happens when you fly to Fiji?
Yeah.
Well, I pretty much went full feral wild man, if I wasn't already.
Feral
wild man.
How did that happen?
That's right. New Zealand, Australia is really safe and nurturing in their own ways. I was hitchhiking across both of those countries, and everybody I met was kind of like a friend that was just waiting to be, discovered. But then, as soon as I got to Fiji, it was like, oh boy, this really is, the real thing. I'm the only white person I saw that whole month. They had just experienced a typhoon, so there's a lot of kind of urgency and, lack of resources. But basically, it was the first time I ever felt kind of under threat because I've been living out in the wild, and I'd never been afraid of wild animals or the elements or anything like that. It was more like, I sure hope I don't meet a bad man one day, And suddenly I'm in this place where everybody's got hungry eyes because I'm a white guy with big pockets. And I was like, oh man, I'm kind of like prey for the first time.
Okay. You also stand out. How tall are you, Jared?
Oh, I'm going to say about 5'18"-ish.
5'18". So he's at least 6'6", as far as I know, right? You're a tall guy, tall, well-proportioned, healthy man. And you do stand out, though.
Well, yeah, especially in foreign lands.
Yeah.
Fiji, right.
Fiji,
I think the average height is maybe 5'5", and suddenly you're a towering presence among them. And you weren't hanging out in the city for very long, were you?
Well, I landed there and immediately was kind of like, all right, unless I want to go the full catered route and be behind, kind of gated communities and stuff, I really need to get out into the wild and do my thing like I've been. I filled up my backpack with some canned food and whatnot and got a big old machete knife and just sent it out into the jungle, really. I had my phone for maps and I knew I wanted to, again, see as much as I could. So I was kind of following waterways and foraging and trying to hit kind of some major roads and different little smaller villages inland and things of that nature. But it got to be really pretty extreme. There was a part along the way where I had some wild boars almost run me down, and it was just that moment of kind of like, oof, this is
so.
Real
Wait,
life.
you're out there almost nude. Are you back? You're wearing some sort of a loincloth right at this point. You're kind of hiking around, and suddenly you hear this huge big.
There wasn't a lot of squealing, but it was just the whole jungle was shaking, all the trees and everything around me. And it was coming at me almost like an invisible force.
Oh, wow.
And so, I dived out of the way, and there was just this huge pack of boars running through the underbrush. And
kind of big boars with big tusks.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen wild boars, but, they can get to be, 400 pounds with tusks. And it just occurred to me, if I got gored out here or something, I'd just be under, the foliage and no one would ever know.
Right.
And it just felt really... kind of almost for the very first time, like, this is serious business. What am I doing?
Sepsis sets in. You're out there, you're doomed.
So what did you do?
Well, the main thing was to try to get to higher ground and figure out where I was, because it was just deep, rural terrain. And I think it was maybe the third day or something. I was coming down a ridgeline, and I saw this little village down in the valley, and I thought, well, that'll be a nice place to check out. And
village, nice red roofs, chimneys, or they're like primitive kind of huts and kind of native people way out there.
Tin shacks, and there's one transport truck a week. I was probably 20 miles inland, and it's all dirt roads, so there's not like a
no Walmart
turnover. And pretty much just kind of staggered out of the the brush into town, and there was quite a bit of interest right away. They found a fellow who could speak English because he was an international rugby player. And so he was my right-hand man, Naibuka. And
Nabucco.
great man. And so, it's...
You stumble out of the forest. You're kind of needing a little support. You're needing a little interaction with people. You've been out there for days and almost run over by boars. So you come into this rather primitive, I know how primitive, because you're going to tell us some stories about how they hunt there. Just a moment. So you come in, and were you accepted right away? Or were you looked at like, wow, who the heck is this guy? What is he doing here?
They were skeptical for sure. They thought I was running from something. And
yeah, right?
I mean, why wouldn't they, right? And I was in a little bit of a trial period, maybe the first week or so. But, when you're out in it, it's just full immersion. And, the sayings are true. Like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, trial by fire, just become part of, the village life.
Where were you staying? I mean, were you just sleeping on Nabucco's floor or something? Or
Well, I'm embarrassed to say I was almost like a little bit of a celebrity, so they were kind of like passing me around. But it was also like part of that mentality of everybody was just very communal and intimate all the time. And so even if, you didn't live in a house, you could just kind of show up and they'd feed you. This is for everybody, There's a lot of communal kitchen action going on and big group games and things of that nature.
So what activities did you do to fit in?
Well, so at first I was really reaching and trying to find how I could be of value and where my niche was. So I was like, I can help prep food, or I can, look over the kiddos or whatever. And finally, Enrico pulls me aside and he's like, listen, man, I know you think you're helping, but you're really making everyone really uncomfortable. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, the stuff that you're trying to do is what the ladies do, and if you're doing that, they're like not stoked, And I was like, okay. And he's like, okay, you need to become part of like the boys' crew, And what we do is get up super early and go out hunting and foraging so that we can bring something back and the gals can prep it out for a meal. And I was like, perfect. That's really where I want to be anyways. I just didn't know how to get
right
there.
on. Sure.
So
then you started going out. You get up real early. What is early? 5 or was it for sunrise?
Yep, early dark before dawn, and they would have different destinations every morning because they don't want to just keep going over the same places, keeping it fresh. So, we'd go out with our machetes and usually find a water source. Everything comes to water, and the majority of the time out there was me learning just how to pass through the jungle in a way that is not going to disrupt
unobtrusive, almost stealthy, quiet
fox walking action, and also to identify what we're even looking for, to forage. So they were showing me where to find it and what it looks like, and I was
everything from lizards to
mushrooms
to
berries
to deer. What?
Lots of fruit, lots of edible plants. Their main food source is taro and kava, which is what they farm. So kind of root vegetable stuff, super tropical. So the more experienced boys were also hunting eels and fish. Fruit bats, anything that was kind of low on the totem pole that would be easy and abundant. So I felt like a little babe in the woods at kindergarten. I didn't know how to do it or what I was looking for. So mostly I'm just fully in it looking at them.
Here you said the 2 words, right?
Yeah.
I knew
Fruit
it.
bat.
You have to hear the story. So one morning you go out and you decide, or you just come across these hanging, monstrously big. You tell us the story.
Well, so I guess it was fruit bat day. So, we went to the bat tree, and I can tell you that before we even got there, you can smell them because the air is so pungent from their
guano
musk, if you will.
Musk.
It could be, but it's the smell of the oils in their skin.
And they're big. These are not little bats.
No, they call them flying foxes, and they're almost maybe the size of a fox, maybe a 4-foot wingspan that's real leathery and veiny. And they've got this massive red furry collar around their neck. Really cute little creature, and also pretty spooky and weird looking.
And so you're going out there with these guys, and suddenly one of them says, there's the bat tree. Now, you're all carrying guns, right?
This is...
No, they're not carrying guns, folks. Wait till you see what they hunt with.
Well, so the machete is a multi-tool, right? It's not really a main weapon. It's just for traversing the jungle and harvesting, and it's just sort of just what everyone has on hand. But these kids were trained from probably the time they could walk how to do these jungle skills. And there's sort of a hierarchy that's developed after how good everybody is. There's the guy that can swim really well, and there's, the slingshot kid, and there's, they all have their skills. So yeah, we come around the corner, and there it is, this remarkably huge tree that's just loaded with these bats. And they're all sleeping because
they're sleeping during the day.
Well, they just got in from their nightly, it was just barely morning. And so they're all kind of settling in. And we come up on the tree, and everybody kind of hides. And this one kid walks up towards it and gets a little closer, and just very casually picks up a stone off the ground and hurls it at a bat that's more on the outskirts of the group, and just expertly snipes it right off of the branch.
It hits it in the head, kills it basically almost right away, and it drops to the ground.
Does not disturb any of the others.
Does not disturb the other ones. That is just amazing.
Throws a rock to hunt the flying monster bats.
And that's what he was explaining through my friend later. He said, well, you always pick the one on the outskirts because you don't want to stir the flock and then make them feel like their home has been compromised. So it's a courtesy thing.
But be able to hit a object with a rock with such velocity to knock it out of the tree and knock it senseless. And then
there was the one bat that was eaten, or did you guys get more?
I think he did. Well, I think the rule was something like you harvest one bat per tree.
Oh.
So we got that one.
So he sneaks up, and then he pulls this lifeless form out, and then dispatches it, and then throws it over his shoulder and starts bringing it back.
We had little harvest bags, but yeah, in this country we whip out our debit card, and over there they just whip out a little stone. So, thing but a chicken wing, see?
So you go bat hunting with rocks, and you score a big bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is a big bat, and you traps on home, and you drop it in the ground, and then ladies start cooking it up?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. It's kind of, I guess it's part of that belonging, that building your own autonomy and understanding the hierarchy of where you fit in the culture. These guys have a strong incentive to be good hunters because they're feeding their people. And so it's a point of pride to come home and, display the bounty and bring it to the rest of the village and have a big cookout.
How was it?
Gamey.
Not the greatest.
I mean, I can't, recommend it, but it was surely an experience that, after you go and hunt a wild bat, you can't be like, I'm good. You gotta get in there with the gang, So
this is great with taro root and potato and things like this.
Right.
That's right. They whipped up a scramble and chef's kiss. What can I say?
Wow.
How long did you stay in that village?
I think it was also there for 30 days. I was trying to get at least a month in everywhere I went, and that's about how long it takes to get a full taste of the culture. Those people were just absolutely remarkable. They took me all over to the neighboring villages to see their friends.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Just kind of brought me in as part of the family. And to that point, when I was getting ready to leave, I said, hey, I'm going to hike back to civilization to go fly away. And they said, well, you're not going to hike. We're going to sponsor you. And so they didn't tell me this until later. They sold a cow to get a taxi to drive out there and get me.
Wow.
So it was just such intimate courtesy there on their end of love. It
was a rough ride back, but you made it back.
Wow.
Before we go on to anything else, I want to say your story is just about halfway through, because from this point, you travel. Was it to Vietnam next, or no? I'm not gonna. We don't want to go to details because we want you back a second show.
Oh, well, shoot. I'm always down to tell tales and spin a yarn.
Yeah.
So interesting, really, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did come back to California for a minute and witness my brother graduate, which was really a huge accomplishment. And then I decided to go do some time in Indonesia, which also led me to China, and then eventually back to my sweet Sierra Nevada mountain range to do some cowboy action.
Hey, let's turn our attraction to that. So we will pick up this story next time you're on. We're not going to have you on too long of a time.
Yes.
You've got to hear the rest of Jared Wilson's amazing story of what he did. Before we talk about your mule packing experiences, which is new to me, I always recall what Jaden, your mother, said. She said, when you came home from that trip, I think when you flew into Oakland, and she says, he walked right by me. I didn't recognize him. You were so skinny, she said.
Yeah.
So skinny that you didn't recognize. It was like, oh my goodness, this is my son. So that's a interesting story. Let's talk about that stuff our next visit. But tell us about
The mule packing.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that all about?
yeah, I mean, all this stuff overseas was sort of like breadcrumbs that my dad left me. And I don't know, it felt like the sous chef was absent, but the recipes and the ingredients were there. So it was all about, do I have the gumption to bake this cake, And so I had all of these patchwork influences growing up through media that really inspired me, that got me over to those places, Man from Snowy River and Crocodile Dundee, Steve Irwin, Tintin. I was kind of like, let's just send it, And as soon as I came home, things had changed a lot. It was 2016, and I was back in, the Wild West again, and I thought, it's cowboy time. Let's get Last of the Mohicans with it, So I kind of decided to finish my education, if you will, at this pack station down in the Southern Sierras. And I was just completely in love with the romance of being a cowboy and living, out there in the wilderness like it was 1850.
On the top of a mountain, desolate mountain with mules.
Packing mules for personal trips and for the government.
So packing mules meaning you pack packs on them with a tent and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of these people are paying for, really high dollar hunting and fishing trips. So it's thousands of dollars worth of gear. And it's a combination of rural hospitality, kind of survival mission skills, and having animals as your coworkers and as opposed to pets,
And you've got to orchestrate all that yourself, right? You're
So are you a guide, or are you packing the mules for somebody else to guide them?
So, I mean, I would consider myself a guide, and also my sort of head trail partner, Charlie, was really the one leading it, and I was a support guide, if you will. Charlie has become kind of like my older brother in the sense that he was able to take where I had got to at that point and polish me out to being sort of a finished young man in a sense.
Wow.
Which is really what I needed, someone to be a mentor on that level. And so he was sort of putting it to me like, all right, you're a really good foot soldier and you can row, you've proven that, but can you be a captain? I was like, oh boy, that is the next level. And you have to out there, your people's lives are dependent on you. And so he instilled that really dynamic idea of, I am the trail, by my hand, and so that part of it was like something I couldn't have got anywhere else. It was such a magical moment in time that I needed that while I was impressionable and able to receive it.
So when did you do that mule packing?
That would have been towards the end of 2017. Like I say, I was pretty much like a professional raccoon, like 2015 through 17 consistently. So that was sort of the end of my arc. And I can't say enough about it. There was so many elements that were life and death, and also divine, by a bevy of angels know my name, and I can say that.
Intervention.
On the other side.
On your behalf. And you're out there, was this during the summer months only, during the spring and fall? Because you're planning a trip coming up with Sam, right?
I am.
Your gal.
That's really one of the more exciting things that I can report about it right now is we're coming up on my 10-year anniversary since I started working at the station. And I also just turned 30 at the end of September.
Happy birthday, man.
Thanks. It's a milestone. And, I remember being a young man out there thinking, well, one day I'll get experienced enough in this environment where it's not going to be this scary wilderness that might kill me. It'll be my living room, and I can invite my chosen partner to join me and experience it too.
Right on.
And so now that I've just hit that checkpoint and turned 30, I'm going to be inviting her to hit the trail with me. And
so it's going to be
it's getting cold though. It's getting Octoberish.
So you have two mule people. So it's going to be two people with two mules going and for a month, or just
not quite that long.
It actually lasts 4 hours. That's it.
I would appreciate a month, but
they have McDonald's at the end of the last cabin.
I'm expecting a 3-day trip, and we'll bring my two girls, Henrietta and Jolene, and so a pack mule between us, and
cool.
then I'll get her a riding animal that I trust with her life, who knows these trails and has been doing it for a long time.
And Charlie's still in the picture, right? He's still out there?
We're going to meet him out there as well.
How cool is that? What a great
Pretty
reunion.
excited.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really a victory moment for me to become a man worthy of a woman choosing me to do something this extreme and kind of unconventional. I feel like I've, in my own kind of magnanimous way, chosen this path, and I'm being so validated in that,
Wow.
I'm excited.
So, really? But you have done more travels, mule packing travels before. How long are they usually, those?
They out for a week,
excursions?
2 weeks at a time? Do you go out in the bush?
Yeah, I would say a minimum of 4 days up to 2 weeks, and different levels of extremeness.
Right. Yeah. Any scientists ever go out there, anything like that? I mean,
we host a range of folks. Usually at the beginning of the season is rafting and kayak people on the Kern River, and then it gets into the mid-season. We're doing backpacking and hiking. Families who want to camp out, fishing, and then getting into the end of the season, it's more of the serious hunting. And
what's the name of the company, packing company?
Well, you know, the station actually burned down in the last couple of years.
Oh my God!
From all the crazy wildfires in California.
Yeah.
So it's no longer kind of like a functional brick and mortar building, but it's still in the Golden Trout Wilderness. And
the Golden Trout Wilderness. How cool.
And
you're hired. Let's go for 4 days, Gigi.
Oh my gosh, I'd love
that. Would be so much fun. Wouldn't that be cool?
And I'll bring Charlie. He's basically like a Doc Holliday character. You know, I'll be a Huckleberry.
The Huckleberry. Yeah.
In the flesh. So I think you guys would get a kick out of it.
Man, Jared Wilson, telling the story about your father. You know, your father passed, but it was able to instill some things in you. You were still a boy, 11-year-old, but you've taken on the mantle, and you know your father vicariously. You've lived a life. And it's so interesting to find, I did not know he was a vet kind of guy that was doing a mobile, helping animals of the world, and then your experiences. You know, you are a deep, I'll say a contemplative, very interesting man. And once you get through the veneer of all of us, like yourself, you're just sweet as can be inside, man. You are such an interesting fellow. You're up here quite a bit in the Crest City, Brookings area, taking care of Grandma, amongst other things.
Yeah.
But we see you occasionally out and about in the town.
Dancing.
He's a great dancer, as Jaden is too. And Grant. I saw Grant. It's
a family affair. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're all such a very intriguing, very interesting family. And really, really dig it. Really dig that you are able to tell these stories with a compassion and insight You're 30 years old. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And what do you think you actually learned most out of all these stories? And we've heard a tenth of what actually really happened, right? So what is the best that you got out of it, or the most?
Oh, wow. So many takeaways. Actually, I was talking with Gam about it. And
Grandma.
Yeah,
Grandma
it's my
Vera.
shorthand.
Hey, Vera.
Yeah, and I was kind of tooting my own horn in a way of like, well, I've only had a handful of really important things in my life that I want to put my stamp on, and I feel like I've accomplished a good bit of them, and I'm my own self-made man, by so many sacrifices. And she was kind of contemplative and goes, well, we're the sum of our influences and the choices we make, And
Why do I know that?
Right?
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, it really is, and she's so wise. But it speaks to you are who you choose to be, and I choose to be a collage of all of my favorite chosen influences in my life, and featuring those things. I would say I learned through being a young man in my 20s how to throw my hat over the wall and then figure it out, which is a big part of it. But also in that process, I would say evaluating risk reward, setting yourself up for success so that the result kind of just does itself and you don't have to do all the legwork all the time.
Having a positive attitude, which you do. You're a very positive person to be around. There's no dumb and glum with you. You are uplifting to all that you meet. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we are now getting to that point of the show being over, right? Do we have any time for it? Give us a few quotes, Dr. Gigi. Fun time corner. Okay. Thank you, Jared Wilson. Listen, and she's got a couple of travel, I think it is. Give us some good.
You're done with your jokes?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
throw some in there. Come on,
Not
give us some
all that. No, not all the what? Not all those who wander are lost. Jesus, now I got it. Okay, it took me 3 times.
That was a quote?
And it was my quote, too. I mean, not the one that I found. Not all those who wander are lost.
True.
Right?
Hey, I like to take 2 6-month vacations twice a year. Hey, do you know why aliens don't visit our planet? Because it has terrible ratings and only 1 star. The airline lost my luggage recently, so I sued them. Unfortunately, I lost the case.
Oh, fantastic.
The world's a book, and those who do not travel read only 1 page.
This is wisdom.
Right?
Very good. One more.
Got
Come on,
it. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
True. Hey, how do crazy hikers get out of the forest, Doctor?
How?
They take the psychopath.
Okay. I know it well.
Oh, this is a good one.
right.
To travel is to discover that everyone is wrong about other countries.
This is true.
Right?
Hey, I went to Bora Bora, but I'm too Pora Pora.
Oh.
Okay. Hey, where do hamsters like to take vacations?
Where?
Amsterdam.
Oh.
I think that's
really
well, I think we're at that point, are we not? Hey,
We are kind of at that point, so let's zoom on out. You have been listening to the Doc and Jacques show on KCRW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. We certainly hope you have enjoyed our show as much as we have listening to Jared Wilson's experiences, and we've only heard a part of it. Very cool.
Yep, you've been listening to Jacques and Jacques, KCIW 100.7.
Jacques and Jacques.
Doc and Jacques. Sorry, I'll slow it way, way down. Hey, by the way, never fly Peter Pan Airways, I found out. They never land.
Mail us if you are or know of a talented, interesting person that might join us on this show. Our email is
docandjacques@gmail.com. Yes, there it is. Okay, thank you, folks. Thank you, Jared. And so fun.
Super awesome.
I'll have you back on in a few months. We're going to hear it again.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, brother.
The kingdom is at hand.
All right. Thank you.